Hey, it's Shop Talk, baby. This is the show where it's okay to be you. We're talking from Yale to jail and from the church house to the pimp house. Nothing's excluded on Shop Talk. So if you don't have a phone, I suggest you borrow one. Call in and voice your opinion live every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Yeah, that's right, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Don't forget to Shop Talk with your girl, because right here, we keeps it real. Good morning to my lovely people. How is it going?
It's going good.
It's going good?
I'm tired, but I'm good.
Are you?
Yeah, I had a bonfire last night, so I was up tending to the fire. And then this morning I woke up to clean it up, and it rained last night, and there was like still little embers, but I said, it's wet, it's okay. And then the garbage can caught on fire.
So was this a planned bonfire, or it just turned out to be one?
Definitely planned, because I had a lot of scrap wood I needed to burn from the house, and so.
Is that legal?
Like, hey.
I'm just asking because I was like,
I don't know.
I think that's a benefit of like living in the country.
Yeah.
Or, the outskirts, like way out, like leave me alone. I can burn my mail, barbecue my mail, however you want to say it.
Right. So.
Or burn old scraps and metals like you were saying versus living in the city. Yeah. Oh, yeah, wood. I said I had metal, shrapnel and everything. I done messed it up, didn't I? You like wood.
It was wood. So, so it was just, tending to a fire is a lot of work. You really have to pay attention, like, at all times. You should never leave a fire unattended, even a candle. So it was just a long night, but I got it done.
But you got it done. Did you roast marshmallows?
No. But I roasted, my son wanted to roast marshmallows, so we roasted marshmallows on my gas cooktop, like in the kitchen. So that appeased him. But no,
he didn't use a fork, right?
No, I actually got these little telescopic prongs.
Okay.
On clearance, I think from Walmart. It was such a good deal. So it was like on those things, skewer things. But yeah, no, and you don't want to cook food over any type of wood that is been treated, like outdoor wood or stained or painted, because that will get on your food.
Look at you, edutain us, girl. Let me tell you, I used to like roasting marshmallows. The reason I asked did he do it with a fork, because somebody was a little slow back when they were younger. And I was at my grandmother's house. And I wanted to roast marshmallows and I could not. Probably for that very reason. Like it's painted wood or something. You can't do it, right? So what I do is I go and do it over the stove with a fork. Let me tell you, I had 3 fork prints on my tongue for it seemed like about 3 years.
You burned your taste buds off.
Yes, I did. And I was like, I took it off. But yeah, I had a metal fork, so don't do that at home.
Yeah, I mean, when we make s'mores, and you're supposed to take the marshmallow off with the cracker.
I just wanted the marshmallow. And I just was young, doing me, and thought I was going to roast me a marshmallow. Yeah, I did. I roasted that and burnt my tongue, too. I was like, so children, don't roast marshmallows and then eat it like it's, I had it like it was a regular fork. Boom. Tongue burnt, a mess.
But you can do that with a stick, because a stick won't get as hot as metal.
And see, that's what I was thinking, because I was young. I told you I was young. I'm not going to tell you how old I was, because I wasn't that young. I should have known better. But I didn't realize that. And I was like, oh my gosh, burnt the mess off my tongue. And guess what? It healed. It did. And it healed. And I didn't tell anybody because I couldn't. Because I wasn't supposed to do it. So see how back in the day we healed. We didn't go. They probably would have had a little cast or something. Some silver bead. Like, put this on her tongue, Then I would get bust out. I had the monkeypox back then. I just dealt with it. Like, okay, I'm dealing with this. That's what I get for doing what I wanted to do. So, what's new, ladies?
Let's see. What's new? Nothing really new to them, but it's new to me. It's going to be 100 degrees today. Guess who's staying in the house?
That's great, because you heard Amber said that it was raining.
Yeah.
It was like 90 something yesterday. Today's supposed to get up to 100. I guess I had things I planned to do today. I bet you I don't leave this house.
Yeah.
I'm not built for that type of heat yet.
Now let's talk about the aftermath. We had our battle of the sexes. I had a great time as usual. I always do. And our speaker was none other than Blair Nash, an amazing guy. Amazing guy. They was giving him the business, though. Still giving him the business. Because I see it on the social media. Still stuck.
They was giving him the blue.
Still stuck on the fast stuff. Now, for the listeners who are unaware of what happened or wasn't able to make it, and you know what, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for all of you guys who donated from out of state. I understood that you couldn't be here, but let me tell you, the mission was accomplished. So again, thank you for your donation. Now, one of the viewers said he even wore blue. Talk about Blair. Talk about the author at the Battle of the Sexes. So I'm going to set this scene up because this was like the funniest thing ever. So he was speaking about women being overweight. That was the question. Actually, it wasn't even him. I think I posed the question because it was on a card, regarding women being overweight and why do men tend to leave or not interested once or get that the roaming eye once a female gains weight. Well, there was a guest that was there at the Battle of the Sexes, and she had something to say about it. And I didn't record that, otherwise I would have played it. But what she was saying was, why is it, when you get married, you marry for love. Why is it a weight thing? Why does it have to be a weight thing? And he also he added on that, if it's like for an illness or something, I can understand. But he just gave his opinion. And there were other fellas out there that gave their opinion, regarding that topic as far as like gaining weight and the guy not being attractive anymore. Well, this is what was funny. The funniest thing ever. While she's defending the weight thing, and she was talking about something, well, if I'm supposed to be with somebody who's supposed to be married, it's for better or for worse. It is not, okay, well, you gain weight and I'm not attracted anymore, which to me, those are two separate things. You could love somebody and not be attracted to them. And I'll elaborate. But at this moment, while she's debating with him about this weight thing, her table was called to go up and eat. So she just left the entire conversation. And he was like, wait, where you going? She was like, my table was called. Now, we talking about the weight thing, but that table was called. She was like, I'm out. I said, this stuff cannot be scripted. Like, it cannot. It was so funny. He was like, oh, okay. So, defending your title is like, okay, I'm defending this and that and blah, 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 blah. And don't worry about my weight. If you love me for me. Up, gotta go. My she didn't say I gotta go. She just left. He said, where you go? My table was called. That was funny. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, let me do a church finger on that. I didn't elaborate on any of that. But your girl could honestly say, I've never had a problem, even with my weight. Even at my heaviest, which is 250 pounds, I've never had a problem getting a man. I don't know what to do. I've never had a problem.
Go ahead, Amber.
Well, I think there's definitely a distinction between dating and then like being married or in a committed relationship. And I think we also distinguished that it's not that you're big and then one day, but it's like you started at one size and then you increase later on. And in that specific situation, why did men lose interest? I understand because I would lose interest. I feel like if you just put yourself in someone else's shoes, it's like, well, yeah, that's understandable. Like I'm attracted to a certain physique. and as a woman, as a heterosexual woman, and if a dude gained a whole bunch of weight, my husband, I'm not going to be feeling it. That's just what I'm saying, being honest as a person with urges and feelings, but then also in my own personal, my actual marriage, my husband's physique changed as he became more ill, and I wasn't sexually attracted to him, but I would have never left him or told him that or made him feel that way because it was something that was completely out of his control. And I think the issue is that, men are kind of heartless sometimes about that, even when a woman, because he said with the exception of medical issues. And I'm like, that's a lie. Girl, that's why I was just writing.
Yes, you
because men don't care. They don't care if there's medical issues. They don't care if there's a legitimate reason. They don't care that your mother died or whatever. And we were talking, I told Nick this because I was chirping in her ear the whole time because I didn't want to mess up the vibe or nothing. I said, you need to lose weight. I was going off. You need to lose weight for yourself. You need to lose weight so that you look in the mirror and you feel good about yourself. You need to lose weight because a man will leave you at any point, at any time, for any reason. So you need to lose weight for yourself, and so that you can replace him. You need to lose weight so you to prepare to get back on the dating market, not to please him.
Now, interesting you should say that, because you said to get back on the dating market.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually how it is, and that's when we tend to lose the weight. Because it was like, oh, okay, you know how they associate being in a relationship, being happy and fat.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, okay, they left and then the weight just falls off. Now, me, I always say, oh, they must have got rid of their weight. That's what I say. And some people the weight just falls off. They're not even working out. You be like, man, I didn't know I was that stressed. And that's because stress can hold on to things.
Yes, makes you hold weight. And I would say, and so my mentality is, you stay ready, so you gotta get ready. So that includes weight. That includes looking your best, because I truly believe, and what I have observed from other people, yeah, a man will leave you for anything. And most of the time it'll be some BS and not even a good excuse. Like, they're just like selfish. So yeah, stay ready.
Okay. Hey, if you want in on this conversation, feel free to do so. The phone number here is 619-902-2287, 619-902-2287. And you can also text, and I'll read it aloud. Read it aloud. I can read out loud. I'm not embarrassed. Call on me, Now, that particular topic was an issue. And, I heard some of the females saying, and the females were the ones that was really like, that's not right and blah, 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 blah. But it is. So it may not be right, but it is. And I'm with you, Amber. I feel the same way. Here's the deal. Can you gain weight? Yeah, you can gain weight. And I felt like the speaker. If it's a medical issue, I totally understand the situation. But, you already know. But that conjunction, if you are just lazy, that's a turn off. Yeah. That's a turn off. You just want to sit there and loaf. And you said lose weight for yourself. Well, here's the thing. You have to get there first. Because sometimes, people are in your ear chirping saying, oh my gosh, you're getting fat. And it may be out of love, but you may be in a place where you don't want to hear that. And you don't need to hear that. So you're trying to stay sane. And people don't understand that ignoring people is a coping mechanism.
Oh, for sure.
And some people don't feel it. They be like, oh, okay, they're just rude. It's a coping mechanism because you don't know where that person is at that moment. And it's like, okay, I may want to lose weight. I do want to, but I'm going to go ahead and throw back these fried pickles. You know what I'm saying? Like, your weakness, because it's comfort, is like, well, it tastes good. And then before you know it, boom, here you are. But you have to be in a place mentally to say, this is what I want to do for me. So let me just say this. I got to take my moment, my teachable moments. So if you are talking to someone and they feel like they're ignoring you, and you are in a marriage or long-term common law marriage, I'll include that as well, understand that there's something more. There's something more. So don't look like, oh yeah, she just keep having an attitude. I'd say, let's walk, let's do this. You got to get a little deeper because it might be a reason. And I'm not happy my feet swell up. I'm not happy I can't wear these stilettos. I ain't lying. I'm about to have like a home shopping network set up thing and be like, here go all these heels. Matter of fact, if you want them, I will mail them, but you got to pay. You know, because things happen. And be like, oh, my feet swelling. I don't want to be the big ankle church lady. I told y'all, I laughed at that person when I was younger. Like, oh, God, look at them ankles. Now I am her.
I understand.
Listen, I don't understand. I refuse to. I'm just going to elevate these mugs.
It's funny because literally my ankles are the only small part of my body. I have to hold on to them. My ankles is little.
All right, we just like they little. Just hold on, swing around.
Right.
But yes, Nick, I get it. I was like, oh, this must be an age thing, but this is not okay.
That and other issues, because you know we both have diabetes that's associated with it. So, you know, I've never had a problem. I mean, I always, I need to lose weight, but I never had a problem where, you know, some people have a self-esteem issue in there. Like I said, I've never had a problem. I love me for me.
And that's
pounds or 140 pounds.
And that's great. Which brings me to the next topic. Let's look at, since Monique out here. Remember, she was a big girl. Her self-esteem was great. And she was out here doing it in the comedy world. Then she lost weight. You got a few people that's like, oh, I'm a big girl, skinny bees, blah, 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 and dog the skinny girls. And I love the confidence, but then they go and have a surgery. And it's like, did you really feel that way? You know, you do want to be healthier, but let me say this to my little thin people. Thin doesn't mean healthy either. So you got to understand that. But now, to what you were saying, yes, that's amazing. You know, even to feel that way, that's amazing. But for someone who never experienced being heavier, so, and you said it may be a self-esteem. Well, you can have high self-esteem the first part of your life, and then the second part of your life, you don't, because things have changed. So that's why I wanted to, you know, I had to elaborate a little bit on it, but you could go ahead with your discussion. I'll listen attentively.
Oh, no, I was just saying, so I was never, now I do, you know, there are some guys, and see, this is what the kicker. Guys will dog their mate out, leave them, talk about them, oh, you didn't gain weight, this and that, but then turn around. Who is a sneaky link? A big girl. Ask somebody that can tell you.
Right. And I wanted to add that another thing I think that people, and maybe it's more towards Black women and the
here you go, Nick,
that are more predisposed to, but I think that when you're some people are skinny and they've been skinny their whole lives or always skinny. Some people are big and they've been big their whole life. But when you're someone who can experience large fluctuations in your weight, like you've been real little, you've been real big, you understand both sides of it, so you're able to have a more nuanced approach and like more of like stable like self-esteem and self-image, because it's like I've been little before and you know I've been big before, and you can have confidence in both, and you can have low self-esteem in both. Mm-hmm. You know, it just depends on where you're at. Like you said, it depends on where you're at in life and what you're going through in that moment. So I feel like people who do like experience large weight fluctuations can understand that. Like, just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're healthy and that you're great and life is wonderful. And just because you're big doesn't automatically mean you're miserable and you hate yourself.
Exactly.
You know, but it's like if you've always been skinny, I think you're more likely to assume, oh, big people have self-esteem issues. But if you've always been big, I feel like there's like some projection like, oh, skinny people have it easier and like everybody wants them and my life would be better if I was skinny and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah.
My thing when I was younger, I stayed skinny forever because I wouldn't eat. My family always used to make me eat. You gotta eat, you gotta eat. So when I started eating, then they're gaining weight. Everybody's like, you need
you need to stop eating. You need to stop eating.
No, it's either I need to eat or I don't need to eat. But y'all ain't gonna listen. But that's literally when I started gaining weight, because when I was younger, I wouldn't eat. I was very picky. Now I'm not picky. But either way, like I said, I'm going to love me no matter what. And I've never had a problem. My heaviest is 250. But I can honestly say the the weight that I gained when I got older, especially when I got to my heaviest at 250, was because of health issues. When I had to have surgery in 2014, it was upon the agreement of all of my doctors because of my health issues. So, a lot of people will say, you need to work out, and, that you need to do it the right way.
Now, you know what? We in the prison system, we call them pod doctors. Okay? But you got your street doctors, too.
Yeah, exactly.
And they tell you, and they don't know how it will affect something different.
Exactly.
So you have to be careful, but we got to move on to the next one. I'm not negating, your severity in that at all, but I get the gist. You get the gist of what she was saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Now I want to get back to what you and I were talking about, Amber, as far as like men. I was having a conversation. Yeah, a guy overweight, I can't work with you. And it's unattractive. And here's the deal. When people are unhappy with themselves, they tend to lash out to the person that's closest to them. You ain't going to have an attitude and be fat. I can't work. I'm out. I'm out. You got to pick your problem. I'm so serious. Like,
okay, but you know what? I agree with you.
You better treat me like a queen, rub my feet, the whole night. Make me become in love with you again, with your personality. But you ain't about to be,
I would go ahead and, this is something I'm dealing with right now, is that, first of all, I wouldn't even entertain a big dude. Like, you wouldn't even get, like, it's just not going to happen, like, period. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I have, where I'm in that position, not with weight, but, like, with stability. Like, you cannot be financially unstable and unestablished in life as a man I'm supposed to be romantically involved with, and then be frustrated with me because you're not established. Like, you're taking your frustration out on me because I'm more established than you are. Like, bro, no. It's just, and I think that, so you could substitute weight for any issue. But, like, people do that all the time where it's like they're not happy with a particular aspect of their life, and they take it out on the person closest to them, like you said.
Okay. We got a text. We ready?
Yes.
What happened to the girl helping her man out?
No.
What happened to the man helping his woman out?
Now, there you go, Nick, because that's the girl. So you're looking for a girl. And which brings me to the next point. Does it seem like older men who are not established tend to be more attracted to the younger girls so that they can feel more intelligent?
Yep.
Because I think they can, because a lot of times older men that want younger women, they can't function with a woman that's in their own age group or on their same level. And I feel like when men want a woman who's like beneath them financially, whatever, but like lower than them, it's as a means to exert control. Have more control over the relationship.
Okay, I can respect that. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I was in a relationship like that. Guy I started dating, he was with a younger girl. He was able to control her. Left her. We were together because I was a strong black woman, and I pushed him to his limits because he was doing things illegally. And I'm like, nah, you with me, you're too smart. And there was things that he wanted to do in life and become. So I pushed him to go. I took him down to Penn State, tried to get him enrolled and everything. Yes, he had been incarcerated. So, you're going to have some issues trying to get free money because, you had been incarcerated before. But I'm trying to push him to, you're smart. You can do this. He left. He, acted crazy. He left.
After he benefited from all the things that you showed him, how strong he is, and pushed him and built up his self-esteem.
Because he never did. He didn't do it. He didn't go to school. He too used to the street life, and he finally admitted to me because we still cool. He finally admitted to me, he said you were my ideal woman. You were one that will stand behind your man 100%. You're one that believes in your man's dreams and try to help your man, push your man to elevate or whatever. But his thing was, you were entirely too strong for me.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Wait. Let me ask you. I knew that's where it was going to go. Mm-hmm. This is like a waiting to exhale moment. Mm-hmm. But So tell me, were you too much like his mother?
Oh no, nothing like his mama.
Not the things that you were doing and pushing him and saying you can do is usually a mother.
Nope. Mama not like that.
Mama
not like that.
I feel like men, I feel like when you try to encourage a man and support him, I feel like it's very easy for them to become resentful and feel overwhelmed because they don't want someone directing their life. They want like a partner. And I personally am at a point in my life where I'm not pushing you to do nothing. I'm not encouraging you to do nothing. Either you're motivated to do it yourself, you're already doing it before I even met you, or you need no motivation from me. I'm just gonna, you know what I'm saying? If you tell me something, I'm gonna verbally support you, but that's it. Because they don't appreciate it and usually just blows up in your, like back blows in your face as far as the relationship dynamic. So I'm just personally like whoever texted the listener that texted that, there's too many, and that was another issue I had with the speaker. Like, I don't understand how we as a community can sit here and dismiss how so many black women have the same experiences with most black men that they deal with. Like, no, well, that's just who you chose to date. Nah, son, it's more than that.
That's who they represented when they came on the scene.
It's more than that. And so, I just feel like the best thing for us as women to do, you don't pour into no man that's not your husband. I just met you and you want me to pour into you. That sounds like a taker. If you're not even in a relationship, so let me ask men this. Why are you expecting a woman that you're not committed to on any level, a woman you just met, you probably known her for 2 months, and you're talking about she's not pouring into me? Why should she? Why are you expecting a stranger to pour into you and you haven't even poured into her? They have a taker's mentality.
Wait. And you know I got to go in. He may have poured into her.
How about that kind of pour? But you know what?
I couldn't miss the moment.
Annette says they won't accept that. They feel we overwhelm them. Say it's a control issue with the partner because you expect more. It's sad they need to want more. Annette, you're exactly right, because you know what my husband just told you this past weekend? He felt like I was trying to control him. Dude, trying to control you? No, I'm not trying to control you, but there's things as a grown man, and a married man, you're not supposed to be doing that you were doing. So, no, of course you feel like it's control when I'm calling you on it. So you're exactly right in that. No, I had to get a homeboy straight while I was there. Trust me. Yeah, and I don't know why men do that. It's not a control thing. If you feel like it's a control thing, because you're not supposed to be doing something, or you're supposed to be doing something that you're not. So when somebody calls you on it, then you want to say they're controlling you. No, get your mind right. If you're supposed to be a mature adult, then you handle yourself as a mature adult, and you don't have to worry about nobody controlling you, or you thinking somebody controlling you. What?
I just wanted to say, I think it's important as women and as a part of growth to actively listen and accept. And if a man is telling you, I feel like you're controlling me, then that's how they feel. Acknowledge your feeling. They feel controlled. So stop controlling them. Stop giving them guidance. Stop giving them instructions. Accept that they can't meet your bar. They're below the bar. Okay? That's what it really is. And I feel like I told Nick this. Like, I feel like the reason why bitter, aggressive, demanding has been attached to black women is because a lot of black women date men that they don't actually respect and don't actually meet their expectations. So you're trying to drag a man up to meet your expectations of what a man and a husband is supposed to be, instead of looking at where he is and say, yeah, you're not where I want a man to be at in my life, and keep it pushing. Because he don't want to get dragged up. He resents getting dragged up. He don't want instruction. He doesn't want support, because now you're controlling him.
And then why is there an issue when you are attracted to someone of the opposite race or a different race who is leveling up? Then your people say, well, why you date a white man? You know,
because they're established. And
look, you know they used to take our we didn't have a choice.
I know a bunch of them that's doing the same thing as the brothers doing. They following them behind the brothers' footsteps. Nah, that's not what we gonna do.
Now here's what I want to discuss is regarding the aftermath of there you go. Yeah, Art was like, Sister Bet, yes it was. I was like, okay, then she doing it. But now here, I want to talk about this as far as the aftermath of the battle of the sexes. I heard several comments and listening, working the room. I'm listening to the conversations as he's speaking. And it went to, why is it that our good brothers, the ones that are leveled up, why are they attracted? And the question wasn't posed this way. I'm posing it the correct way. Why are they attracted to white women? Because let me say this, and I'm going to speak. I ain't white, but I'm going to speak for my white people. My white friends, It's always hurt, and I hear it too. Why does she want our black men? The black men are choosing white women. So when that question was there, I didn't look at it, me personally, but I want you guys to elaborate. I didn't look at it as a negative on the white girl. Or, you know what I mean? I'm in my mind, I'm like, okay, he's choosing that. And it seems to revert back to the answer always is what Nick was saying, that her husband told her. Controlling. And so, and go ahead. I did hear the dummy down too. Not that all white girls are dumb. That's not what I'm saying. But I did hear that. Go ahead.
No, and it comes down to, and it is controlling, because the white girl is going to accept him for where he's at and what he's doing. He's a bum. He's a criminal bum that's street-minded. She's accepting that. She sees he's a bum, and she's like, that's okay. I accept you. And at the end of the day, everybody wants to be accepted. Desiring a partner that accepts you the way you are is not wrong or problematic as a person and as a man. But when you're with a woman who's up here, morally, financially, education, spiritually, whatever, and you keep, because you gotta be so race loyal. You're only attracted to black men and black men from a certain demographic apparently, and you're dealing with men that's down here. Okay, you can't accept. There's a significant gap, and so black women try to close the gap. I'm going to push you. I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to speak life into you. I'm going to give you guidance. I'm going to make suggestions.
I'm taking them to Pastor Simon. I'm taking them to my pastor. Here, this is where you go.
I think that's why they choose. That's why they go outside their race. I also think it's they don't like the way that they look. They don't want black kids. Interesting.
Go ahead, Nick. Address the comment. Go ahead, you can read it out loud for the listeners.
Younger. Okay.
It's highlighted.
So, oh my gosh, Mel, this is so my problem. I'm in love with a man that has issues with a strong, independent woman, as he is used to give ladies much younger due to his lack of self-esteem. Thank you, ladies, for some guidance. Honey, listen, run. From my past experiences, run.
Yeah. Amber says, "Don't give no more effort." Like he doesn't appreciate what you're doing.
Honey, get your Forrest Gump on. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Run.
Well, and you know what though? And here's the thing that I find. You can be so connected, and if they don't have what they need, and you're like, I'm really in love with this person, we could be great because as females, we see the future. Somebody say, yeah, I want to marry you. We setting a date and they didn't say when, you know what I mean? So we're used to looking ahead, okay? Where they're speaking in the right now. What happens is I believe that you deserve more. I don't know why men just won't say that and then put it back on us. Because if you know that your girl is leveling up and you're like, I don't deserve this, and you can't accept it, you need to voice that. I don't deserve you. and just say what it is, because they have to face their truth. I got you, Amber. They have to face their truth. So what you're doing is making them look in the mirror.
And you know what?
What is it?
Me and that guy are friends now because he was able to admit that he didn't deserve me and that I deserve better.
And guess what? So they're able to look in the mirror, look themselves in the mirror by you. So you're teaching them. So again, like I was saying, is that why they get the younger girls? So they can feel like, okay, this is it? Because remember that older guy was dealing with, and remember he used to say words that wasn't in the dictionary, and I used to just blurt out www.dictionary.com. You remember? I used to just say, I was like, that was the wrong word. I mean, I get it. Well, just go down to the one syllables. I know what you mean. Like we could. You don't have to use a 4-syllable word with me, you know. Just go ahead. But go ahead, Amber. What's your thoughts?
So, personal accountability, ladies. A lot of times, a man will tell you that you are above him and that he's not qualified. He'll say, "Oh, you know, you deserve better. You're such an amazing woman. I'm a piece of shit." Whatever. Like they will tell you to your face, and you're taking it as flattery when really it's the truth. It's a red flag, and you should be taking it very serious. When a man says, "You can, you know, you deserve better than me," and most people, because women tend to be nurturers, it's like, "No, you're amazing. I'm choosing you. I think you're one. I see your potential. I think you're amazing." Da 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 da. Instead of saying, "Yeah, you're probably right," or like, "Wait a minute, hold up." Ugh. And I think the reason why men tend to get with younger women is because they feel that the relationship is balanced. They're older, they have more money, but it's a balanced connection. They don't feel like they're getting controlled by that younger woman. So I feel like a lot of times these men, they need big gaps. Big gap in income, big gap in education, big gap in age, so that it feels equal to them. And if a man is in a connection where it doesn't feel equal, then it's you're controlling me and, you know, you're nagging and it's not, it doesn't feel equal to him. So, and maybe on the outside looking in, we're like, no, he's way higher than her. Like has way more this, he has way more that. And he's getting with this young thing to control her, but maybe it's not control, maybe it's balance.
Now let's look at this. Let's look at it this way. Yeah, that would be balance. Because if you're here and they're here, you'll have that balance.
Yeah.
And then some people are raised, I don't know, let's go take it on back, are raised to be wives. So then you have to define what is a wife, not the modern day wife. What is the wife? So they want new day trends with old fashioned standards. So, yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, I want an old fashioned wife. I want like my grandmother, but you're dealing with the new day. So you're going to get a new day spouse.
Well, and I think there's nothing wrong with desiring your grandmother as a spouse, but are you going to be your grandfather? See, I feel like these men, they focus so much on what a woman is supposed to do, what a wife is supposed to be, but they usually but when you ask them, okay, what's a husband supposed to be? Not just financially, spiritually, morally, romantically. What is a husband supposed to be? They're like crickets, confusion. Why they're too focused on what they want in a spouse instead of embodying what a good spouse is themselves.
Now let's talk. Let's bring it on back to wanting someone like your grandmother. That's the type of spouse that you want. And then you ask the $1 million question: are you your grandfather? But here's the thing. Let's talk about the grandfathers, because see, now we got Maury. No, so you got grandfathers who had two families, and that family, the mother knew to stay over there, and that mother knew to stay over here. And then you had where grandma was stepping out, but doing all the wifely duties. And then grandma got a child by somebody down the street, i.e. was a milkman or whoever. And guess what? The grandfathers raised that child as their own. And they let it see. So we know that in today's society, they going on Maury. They ain't raising nobody else's. They like, no, this is this. And ready to throw the baby mama, which I hate that term, ready to throw her under the bus and let everybody know, oh no, guess what? She's not Miss Goody Two Shoes either, to validate their bad behavior. So, I mean, you got to look at it that way. Now, I want to address one of the comments that's over there. Love is love. Love is something, and you might be like, okay, I don't know why I'm attracted to this individual. This is not what's on my list. I always tell ladies, please write down what it is that you want. What are you going to waver? You know what I mean? Are you able to go without this, or is this going to be an ongoing fight? I'm the first one that'll tell you. I'm going to look at the situation, and if I know that this is a potential argument in the future, I'm not going in. Because I'm not wavering. And I know this is what I like. And if you, i.e., example, I like my feet rubbed. You don't like feet. This relationship ain't going nowhere. We're just going to be cool. Because I'm not going to go into a relationship trying to buy into what I'm selling. I'm not. Because I'm like, okay, this is going to be an argument and I see it and I'm just not the arguer. In the future, we're going to keep revisiting this. This is what I'm going to, this is what I like, what I desire. Will I step out if somebody say, hey, I'll rub your feet? Not necessarily, but I'm going to get my feet rubbed. So I guess you're going to be paying for a massage, but it's so much different and it's intimate when it's somebody that you're in love with. So we can't help what we are attracted to, but what we can do is study what we're attracted to. And when I say that, then say, okay, understand why. Now, hear me clear, listening audience. I'm not saying be their counselor. Just understand why you're not getting what you want and move forward. And be like, okay, we can still be cool. This is what I'm attracted to in you. Once you study it, then you'll know you'll find those traits somewhere else and it'll be more on your speed. Go ahead. What you got? Because we're going to move to the next one. Go ahead.
I mean, I agree with you, and I think I'm big on the moving forward. I think women tend to get stuck. Assess the connection, see the good, see the bad.
What is that about, ladies?
What?
The being stuck, the trying to fix everything. Like, I'm not a hard worker. Let the man do that part. I'm a nurturer.
Well,
so what is going on?
Like the culture, like the Black community's culture, like women have had. That was the other thing he said I disagree with.
Go ahead.
Oh, Black women in our community like to wear the pants, and they want to wear the pants in a relationship. I said no, Black women had to wear the pants.
Okay.
You like what? So I mean,
but guess what? We don't have to if we dumb down.
What?
we don't have to wear the pants if we dumb down and pretend we're something that we're not.
Right. I mean, but the thing is, that's imperfection. But what about if a man leaves you, and then you're automatically the head of household?
Boom. There you go.
Okay, so
I do it for the last 5 months.
I really had a problem with that because I was like, no, I firmly believe that no, Black women are not trying to wear the pants in their relationships. Again, it goes back to that being unequally yoked. A lot of Black guys are here financially, education, morally, character, whatever. You got a whole bunch of Black women up here trying to drag them up. And it comes off as controlling, wanting to wear the pants. They're not equally yoked.
Can I say something to that? Can I speak to that for a minute? But we have to put the blame where the blame is. I have never been in a relationship where I felt like I had to wear the pants. When I leave my workplace, my pants is hung up in the mudroom.
But you know what? I will say I had connections where I felt like I was wearing, or, not being on the same page. And then women will try to bring him up instead of exiting. Okay,
and here's my point to that. We have to take accountability on the people that we're choosing. Then, because I never wore the pants. I got to say that I was not attracted to someone where I felt like I had to wear the pants. Semicolon. Yes, I use punctuation. Semicolon. The men will come to you in confidence and you date them and you think they have all this confidence. And then they become very needy. Like, that's why I say a relationship up to 3 months is a theory. That's not a relationship. Tell me, I dated this person. If it was If it was less than 3 months, we did not date. I'm collecting data here. Like,
you probably didn't even meet them. You meant the representative.
Exactly. So you're collecting data. That's what I'm saying. We didn't date.
Yeah.
You know, less than 3 months, you were a theory, homie. And that's the truth. But you do have people who will feel like, okay, you're unapproachable. And take it as a compliment, ladies. Take this as a compliment. If a man feel like he can't come up to you, that's because he has you to a higher standard than he believes that he can have.
Yep.
Then you have that dude that'll come and be like, hey, I'm just going to shoot my shot because he's bold.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, okay. And it's funny, you know, and you have that comedy in there. It's like, oh, okay. And you find them attractive just because they were bold. And then you have that guy that just sits there. I call it the incel now. And then they want to come. And it's like, let me see, you know, if she'll entertain me. Okay, I'll entertain you. But you come off as one way. And then the real you comes out. And then male realize, oh, that's why you're an incel. Have a good day, ma'am or sir.
And I would like to say that also, when a man's bold, and he's like, I'm bold, I'm going to shoot my shot. I don't care if she's above me or whatever. But then it's going to take time for the woman to figure out, oh, wait, I'm way above you. Like, you see what I'm saying? So it's not like, so yeah, I think definitely the accountability is who you're choosing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think black women perpetually choose men that are beneath them, either in ambition or in attention or in character or in values. Like, you want to get married and he doesn't want to get married. Okay, bye. See you. On to the next one. You have to stipulate your standards and what you want. Go ahead, Amber. Read the comment, please. Okay, so Alonzo Claybrook said, there's nothing wrong with having expectations in a relationship in the sense of expecting someone to do something for you. But you need to keep your expectations in line with, number one, where you are in the relationship, and number two, who you're seeking certain qualities or change from and in what capacity. If you're only in a relationship for 2 months, it's fine to have expectations, but it should align with where a typical 2-month-old relationship should be. You're still feeling each other out. You're still... Wait 1 second. Let's see. Can we get here? Over here. You're still feeling each other out. And I don't know, maybe the comment cut off. You ran out of characters. You ran out of characters, Alfonso. Excellent commentary, Alonzo. I completely agree with you, having expectations in alignment. And I think when it comes to that personal accountability, ladies, you can tell from the beginning, like, there's red flags, and you're like, ooh, he doesn't have a car, and ooh, he's living with his aunt. And like, wait, and the car, and then you keep on, and that's wait, you, honey. Listen, those are good points that you brought up. No car, and it's not in the shop. It's still in the driveway. Like, we're just not gonna get it fixed. So now you telling me if we work something out here, I'm gonna have a broke down vehicle in my driveway. That's gonna be a problem. And then secondly, you said he lives with his aunt. What? Your mama got tired? I know I ain't got a shot. Right. Yeah. I think that, you know, I think black women ignore red flags out of, like, desperation / low self-esteem. Because, yeah, if you, and I feel like, again, something else the speaker said that I really disagree with. When he was like, oh, well, there's only a few good men. And in my head, I said, there's a few good black men. But if you're approaching, and I feel like a lot of these men, it's beneficial to a group of men who have less to offer to deal with a group of women who are dating with a scarcity mindset, who are in a panic, who are into, oh God, I'm gonna hit the wall at 35, and nobody's gonna want me. I better just accept this because I'll get nothing better. But that's instilled. That's instilled. It's instilled in you. But now, maybe there's only a few good black men. Okay, there's only a few. We know the numbers. We know the data. That was something else that irritated me. We know if you're saying like cognitive, you're already familiar with the fact that most of the data statistics regarding the black community are negative, right? That's not a secret. That okay, it's not like questionable. On top of all of our spoken word experiences and anecdotal evidence, if everything is in alignment, why are we still questioning it? Okay, so things are bad in the black community. Got it. Understood. So if you're like, there's only a few good men, so you gotta settle. You gotta make choices. I'm like, that's
No, because that means accepting what's presented in front of you.
clause if you exclusively date black men. I feel like if you start dating with an abundant mindset, there's lots of good men. There's what 2.5 billion men on the planet.
But we're still at a shortage.
Right, but they want you to believe that there's a shortage of good men, and you better compromise, and you better appreciate this, even though he's beneath you in X, Y, Z areas, and your intuition is telling you something's not right. You better take no, just no.
Did I tell you a good friend of mine?
No, there's lots of good men.
A good friend of mine, her grandmother said it, and I love it. If you see one red flag, it's usually a parade to follow.
Yes.
So it's not going to just disappear, and that's what we tend to do. We project ourselves onto people and how they feel instead of looking at what it is. What I have learned with men, and I study them, is they mean what they say.
Yes.
Listen to what they say. We as females have the tendency to listen, to hear what we want to hear. Just like I use that example. It's like, oh yeah, I'll marry you. We hear I'll marry you. We're going to get catalogs. Do they still have catalogs? Going through bridal, catalogs like, okay, we're getting married and here's a date. And he's like, whoa, wait. And then he jumped ship and you'd be like, oh, what happened to the relationship? I don't even know what happened. Well, the problem was he said he'll marry you, but he didn't say when.
Right.
We tend to say, okay, well, we're going to set this date. And then there we go with the listening audience. Who's wearing the pants? We done took over.
Right. And
instead of asking that question. Go ahead. Go ahead. What'd you say?
Say what you mean and mean what you say.
But they do. They do. And we take it. Just like me and my mom was talking one time, and she was saying how, you could talk to somebody and then you listening to all the slow music, but Luther Vandross, who we got now, Trey Songz, that's who's talking to us. He didn't say none of that. You're just talking to him on the phone at night. But you listening to Trey Songz in the back and all tied up. And it's like, well, wait, we're in a relationship. He'd be like, oh, wait, what? Well, huh? We just talked on the phone a few times. What you mean?
Right. And I think that men know that, and the more intelligent ones will play that to their advantage. And I want to give another example outside of the marriage, scenario you gave. Like, if a man tells you, you're mean, and you're always hard on me, and you're always coming down on me, and I don't like it. And then you automatically like, no, I'm just telling you the truth. And it's not my fault that that's how you're receiving it. But if you are just accepting what they're telling you, is that I am experiencing your words as mean and harsh. Accept that as their truth and their feelings are real and valid.
And they are.
The issue isn't that he is misunderstanding you and he doesn't want to take accountability and acknowledge all the ways you're right, but just say, okay, he sees me as a mean person, or he sees my words as mean and harsh. Either I need to adjust the way I'm speaking to him, or maybe he's too sensitive for me. And I feel like when you take it to the next step and you start accepting and validating them as a person, the next step is, we're not compatible and this isn't working. And so instead of being like, well, he needs to change and you need to accept my words, maybe you're not a good fit. And it doesn't mean he's wrong. It doesn't mean his feelings are wrong. It doesn't mean you're wrong, because more than likely whatever you were saying was true. But there's not meshing, You
know what? And I like that. I agree with you. I was talking to one of my homies, Shimmy, and he said something. It was during the show, I believe. Wasn't it, Nick? It was during the show where I'm just speaking for me personally. I'll say we too, but me personally, you can look at your upbringing and believe that everybody's upbringing was like yours.
Right.
So you're not wavering and you're not looking at the things that they have gone through. So those may be triggers, just as you're stating, Amber D. Those may be triggers where, if a guy is thinking the words that you're saying is mean, he may have grown up, can't stand his mother, because that was what she did. And that's how she spoke to me. So then you see that where it's like, okay, back to what I was saying. I don't want to marry my mother. I'm trying to get rid of that. I don't want to be with my mother. And interesting enough, most men tend to be attracted to someone they have similarities like their mother.
Y'all don't stop talking about me because I was just saying that too, that I was mean. I'm too mean. You too mean.
No, I literally just had that conversation. I was actually talking about myself and my current connection. So I was talking about me. Okay.
That too, that I'm too mean.
So but I wanted to add when you said, like their mothers. Okay, and in the aftermath, when you were talking about when one of I believe it was a male guest said, that's an assumption because it was anonymous. It was an anonymous written question.
Okay.
Do you think absent fathers affect girls and how they grow up and their interaction with men in their adult life? And I know I made a face. Like, the fuck? Of course it does. Like, duh. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right? And, the speaker was like, yes, it does. Or yes, it can. It was a very mild, tepid response. Whereas I'm just like, well, duh. Like, yes, it hugely impacts them. Here's the thing, though. Back to what I said, 20-30% are black men are incels. If we could acknowledge that not having a father at home detrimentally impacts girls and how they relate to men in their adult life, then we also need to acknowledge that having fatherless homes negatively impacts young black boys, how they are able to function in their masculinity, and how they can be providers and good husbands in their adult life. So there's a lot of black men who have mommy issues, what you were talking about, Mel, and who are traumatized, who have been negatively affected by their upbringing, and they're not great partners. And they have a very unhealthy, they have a very negative perception of what there's a lot of animosity and resentment towards women, which is like I was saying, that's the root of incels. Is like there's like a lot of stuff going on mentally and emotionally and how they relate to women. And I think there's a lot more black men because they're coming out of no father homes or not good role models as men that grow up into adults that have an unhealthy relationship with women or perception of women.
Okay. And I get that. I think that, especially when you're over the age of 40. So I'm talking to those 35 to 40. You know what your issue is. She doesn't know what your issue is. Don't come approach her if you got those issues, because here's the deal. Because you have issues, you want us to accommodate you. But now we can't be who we are. So accept you for who you are, but we can't be who we are. And that's unfair. And that goes to what Nick was saying. You know what I'm saying? Where Nick was like, I'm not mean, but that's how I'm, and his experiences are just that, his experiences. And I will never say nobody, they don't feel that way. I will never negate anybody's feelings. So I get that. But here's my thing. He shouldn't have never stepped to her. He should have never agreed. And I'm just, we're not going to say a name just to protect myself. And you, because if y'all go to counseling, you might reconnect and be up on it. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like don't bring your problem to the table, because especially at this age, I don't want it. I'm being flat out. Do not bring, PSA, public service announcement. Do not bring your problems to me. I don't want them. I am ready to laugh, have a great time. If you haven't worked out your issue, so sorry for you. And I want to speak to Alonzo, who was speaking about like where you are. The hometown I represent. Hey, shout out to Youngstown United. You gave me my hat. The hometown. You got to move outside of your hometown, wherever you live. You're bigger than your city. Get out, expand, and you can't expect more, because then you'd be like, oh, okay, they've been with this person. Who wants to be with the guy that's been with the entire town? You, because you won't leave and move and go somewhere else and meet some other people.
Listen, that's all Pharaoh is, community D.
See, and who wants that? And then you're dating this person, and then is he going to be allowed outside? No, because he done dated everybody. Is he going to be allowed to the grocery store?
move outside of my realm.
You know, y'all dizzle handling now. You know what I mean? We dizzle handling. Out 6.
Devon can tell you about the community. You know what?
You know what I'm saying? So you got to get out and expand. Be willing to meet other people. And listen here, me. I love my black men. I do. They're here. Back to the battle of the sexes. Here you have what's important. So when you look at, we put y'all in categories. I'm going to tell the fellas, I'm telling the secret right now. Yes, we do. Certain, you want somebody to put it down, I'm going to look at the real black dude. The real dark dude. Because let me tell you what we got as females. When we look, we be like, oh yeah, he look nasty. He going to do everything. You look at the light-skinned dude, you be like, oh, I hope they don't be sitting there like, let me see the mirror. Oh, wait, my hair messed up. You know what I'm saying? You too pretty. You know what I'm saying? Then you look at the very nice dude, the great provider, but he don't have any muscles. You be like, now if we go out somewhere, am I going to have to tell him to look out? Look out! You know what I'm saying? So,
am I going to have to fight with him?
Right. Is we going to have to jump somebody? You know what I'm saying? So we do. Listen, to the listening audience, this is so freaking funny. Since we had COVID, I'm putting it on, on video. But you guys check it out on YouTube because these comments are hilarious.
They said Miss Johnson. Hey, Mr. Johnson.
He said, that's me dark, but I don't look nasty. Man.
So I'm with Annette. Edwards, Williams, like stereotypes. OMG, I'm with you, Annette. No, I do not.
But most of us do. You don't stereotype.
Not me. I'll make other types of stereotypes, but not that. No, and I definitely do think you put you. And I feel like that's everyone. I actually wanted to piggyback on what you were saying though, like as far as like everyone has baggage. Everyone has baggage. And you're going to bring your baggage into relationship. That's your accumulation of your experiences, and you're going to experience things through what you have been through. But I feel like the difference is, are you growing as a person? Are you bettering yourself? And that's independently of being in a relationship. Like, are you going to therapy? Have you been working on this? Do you even acknowledge that you have a problem? And I feel like there's a lot of men who don't even acknowledge that there's an issue to begin with, don't seek therapy, and are not even attempting to grow or improve as a person and deal with their childhood issues and their traumas, okay, because they think the woman is supposed to come and tolerate it or save them. Yeah, or like big feet.
Get big feet!
That is not true.
But listen,
okay.
They be putting on somebody else's shoes or buying bigger shoes, flip-flopping around here.
Brings me to Amber's point.
Go ahead.
Listen. They, like men that experience, listen, if you know your mama didn't put up with mess from a man, why do you expect another woman to put up with your shit?
Glad you said with a bell.
Understand that.
Now here's the thing. Good point. That's probably why they go over to the other side, to deal with people who are going to put up with their stuff.
And that's why I'm called mean and controlling everything else, because I ain't the one. I'm not putting up with that.
The strong black woman, you call the strong black female.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to put up, because if you know that your mother did not put up with that, why do you expect me to put up? I ain't putting up with your mess. Period, point. That's why you want to call me mean.
Okay, go ahead, Amber. Go ahead, Amber.
There's a lot of black men who don't want their mother. Like, they have issues with their mother. Can we really talk about it? There's a lot of black men who don't find their mother to be beautiful or attractive because they're run down, exhausted. They put on that stress weight, that cortisol weight, because their daddy wasn't worth nothing, okay, or was putting them through hell emotionally. And they're like, I don't want that, because that is their perception of black women, is their mother, who's someone who is hard, someone who's mean, someone who gives them the direction and instruction, someone who's not feminine, someone who is tired and exhausted. Like, I don't even blame them for not wanting to be with a woman like that. If I was a man, that would not be my ideal mate. You know what I'm saying?
What, upset and mad and not looking at the bigger picture to say, hey, this is why she's this way?
Well, and that it goes back to, no accountability. But, but then the reason, and if black women want to stop feeling that way, stop being angry, stop being agitated, stop being bitter, cut your losses and move on. Because, I think that a lot of black women are like angry and aggressive and frustrated because you're talking to a brick wall. That's why. Let it go. Let it go. Let that man go. There's women who are like, oh, right, exactly. So Annette Edwards said because they were taught by seeing daddy, uncles, etc., treating women like this, they think. And also the guest speaker spoke on this. The black male culture. Okay. So when he says it sounds cute or whatever, when I say I'm mean.
Listen, he look good. You need to put your makeup on and then you won't be mean. He look good saying it. That was it.
When you talk about see black men look like, single black mother. What you can raise a son good to have morals and integrity and character and have some damn sense. You can do that as a single mother. But guess what? The culture surrounding black men is of degeneracy. And he's going to be influenced by his peers and by older black men to be trifling, especially towards women, especially towards black women. And that's not in your control, black woman. That's not in your control, mama. Okay? The culture surrounding black men is encouraging them and encouraging each other to be trifling, to be cheaters, to be adulterous. Like when the guest speaker was talking about his grandfather, he uses what I would interpret as coded language to say, my grandfather was an adulterous philanderer. Basically.
Yeah, that was pretty much it, yeah.
And he used coded language to make it sound cute, to make it sound softer, but that's what it is. Just like black women out here having bastard babies. Left, right, and center. Ooh, it's harsh. Ooh, that's a harsh word. But that's what it is. But that's what it is.
Okay.
So the culture around black men is toxic.
Okay.
So if you raise his son well, there's 60-40 chance he's not going to grow up to be just like the average.
Okay, Nick, go ahead and read the highlighted comment over here.
Our community has not been taught to seek help outside of family or outside of the church. We have been taught to give it to God, and y'all supposed to pray for men according to our culture. And you're exactly right, David.
Point taken.
Bring that point up. I have said it many times. In the black community, it's always whenever something is mentioned about going to counseling, seek counseling. I don't want nobody in my business. I ain't trying to talk to no. And the first thing is, I ain't trying to talk to no white person about my business. The counselors are coming all shades, sizes, and races. Okay, they've gone and gotten their education just like you go see a doctor when you sick. That is a doctor for your mind. That is somebody that's on the outside looking in that is not going to side because they know your family, or not going to side because this person belongs to the church and they bring you. And you're exactly right. They are going to listen to both sides, and they're going to give both of you their point of view as to what is going on with your relationship. And either this is what you need to do to fix it. If you're not willing to fix it, then you need to go apart.
Non-biased.
So, yeah, they're non-biased. So therefore, you're exactly right. And I always say this. Our community, the black community, has a problem with seeking outside counseling. And it's not to get everybody else in your business. It's for the betterment of your mind, your well-being.
Okay, let me say this before you jump in, Amber. We've been reared. What goes on in this house
stays in this house.
See?
And that's not right.
And that's us. We've been reared that way.
That's a part of breaking generational curses, is acknowledging, okay, this was my childhood and I see some problems with it and I'm going to choose to do things differently. That's how you break generational curses. And I feel like black women are more prone or more likely to break a generational curse than black men are. And to Nick's point about, I don't want to talk to a white person. Okay, well then we have to get real about it. Most therapists are white. Okay, because black people don't really value higher education as a community. All right, we would see more black people in professional positions. And you can find it's harder because we are numerically a minority in this country. But if black people were more in the medical field, more in the judicial system, more in positions of power, you said, well, you can definitely find a black therapist. Which goes back to my point. Me personally, I would not take advice from any person who is not like a certified professional or someone whose life is a reflection of what I want. I'm not going to get marriage advice from somebody who's never been married or been married for 1 year. I'm not going to get relationship advice from, this was my other thing, from an ex-player. I'm not attracted to players. I don't want to bag a player. I don't want to understand a player. If a man is a player, he's not for me. Furthermore, men can give advice on what a man thinks, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of dating gurus who give advice, especially to black women, because it's a great market, to black women, even though they don't have the education, they don't have the credentials, and then their personal life isn't a reflection of it either.
Okay, I gotta intervene. Hold on, let me get this. Hold on.
But okay, you need to believe what I'm telling you because I'm a man and I know how men think. I'm around men. That's true. But he's a heterosexual man. He has not had connections with men in a romantic sense. He has no understanding of which is a different, just like when you have moms who are like, that's my son and I know my son and he would never do that. You know that human being as a mother-child dynamic relationship, which is not the same as a romantic dynamic connection. Okay, it's not the same type of connection. It's not the same type of relationship. So I'm very hesitant to get advice from a man just because, well, I'm a man and so I know how men think. Right, but you haven't dated men.
Okay, wait. Here, to speak to that, I disagree. Because a piece of paper, I know somebody, okay, those who've known me, licensed cosmetologist, okay, since 91. You can have somebody sitting there, they can be excellent in theory, terrible in practical, okay? So you read a book and this is what you got. And a lot of people who have certifications, they may not have never been married. They want to give you child advice and never had children. That's why there is no book on child rearing. I'm going to put that out there. Okay, got to do that. Will I listen to a man? I will listen to a man to tell me what men are interested in. The problem is we as females tend to tell men how they need to think. I'm a female, so I don't know how you think. Do I want to deal with the player? I definitely do. Why? Because that's me. I'm the player. You know what I'm saying? I need to know the mindset. I love people, so I study people. And I will listen to what the player sees. Okay, let's talk about the pimp. Am I going to listen to a pimp? I'm not interested in a pimp or being a hoe. But I'm going to listen to the pimp because guess what? That pimp is going to teach me how not to be a hoe. Okay? So I can adhere to any information from a man. Even those, you have people to give marital advice. May not have been married. Not that they couldn't have been. They refused to be because they knew what it stood for. So they're like, no. How many times let's be real, even us right here. How many times have we been proposed to? Did we say yes to everybody? You see what I'm saying? So you got to take that into consideration and be like, oh, okay, well, yeah. So I believe everybody could be married, but it's what are you willing to sign up for the rest of your life? So we choose not to. So I won't just go and be like, okay, I'm not listening to a guy. I'm not listening to Miss Jones down the street because she didn't have any children. Well, Miss Jones babysat, and she probably know a whole lot more about children than the parent themselves. Why? Because the parent is at work.
See, that was me. I was the babysitter, so therefore, a lot of people.
You can give me some advice.
My kids and you ain't got no kids because I babysat from a young age. Lots of children. I have lots of godchildren. So yes, I'm going to, especially if I see a parent that's not doing what they're supposed to as a parent. You think everything that child does is funny, or you do stuff in front of children that you should not do, and then when your child grow up and have to continuously stand in front of the judge, and you wondering why, because you got to think about the stuff that you did in front of your child as an adult that you shouldn't have. Because had they not seen that as an example, they wouldn't be standing in front of a judge now. So yes, I do tell people about their children. I ain't got children.
But see,
not a child, but I will tell you.
But your experience, and see, I don't have to experience any of the stuff that somebody else may have. Let's say you have a mother who's reared a son, and she's giving advice about her daughter. You don't know if she was your daughter, and your daughter is following in her footsteps. You know what I mean? So sometimes people go through things, and they can be like, okay, I see this path because it's a familiar path to them. Doesn't mean it has to be a familiar path for me, and it's my child. Y'all fly swatting bugs and stuff all up in y'all crib. I'm like, wait. But a lot of people wanted to know what the battle of the sexes was about. So we're giving you guys the aftermath of the battle of the sexes and the speaker. And listen, this is my biggest fundraiser now this year. the once it was before, but this year was my biggest fundraiser. So when you ask the question, what is the battle of the sexes? My thoughts are you got to experience things for yourself. Now let's talk about this as a culture. We tend to see if somebody else is going before we decide to make a decision. So why is it that we need a co-signer on decision making? Not us, the panel, but let's just open it up. Why is it that we need a co-signer to make a decision on our lives?
Yeah,
do you think that affects our relationships?
Everybody to go somewhere with me. Well, who all gonna be there? Why? We gonna be there if you go. Why does it matter? If it's something that I like to do, I'm going. I don't care if I'm the only person there. That is the dumbest question to me. Well, who all gonna be there? I don't know because we ain't there yet.
Go ahead, Amber.
Okay, so I think people ask that question because we're a communal species, right? We are most of our programmed to be around each other, right? We like to be in group settings, and I think that, like, as far as her example of like why for me personally, I don't want to pay $20 cover charge to get into a club and nobody's in there. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's like a risk assessment type of deal.
Are you serious? Well, then if you don't go, then somebody else won't go. I'm with Nick.
No, but and logically speaking, I think that's a valid concern. Like I've done that before. I went in a place, we had to pay a cover charge, and it was dead. I'm like, why? I just wasted $20, and we still got to go to another bar.
But wait. Let me ask you this, Amber. You were there. Why is it still dead? You the life of the party.
No, because I am the life of the party. I'll definitely I'll go to a DJ booth about 10 times. If the DJ ain't playing the music I want to dance to and nobody's dancing, I'll go. But I also feel like I shouldn't have to work that hard. You know what I'm saying? And then also, if you're out prowling the streets looking for a man, if there ain't no men in there, then that's not a good op. You know
but watch this. And that man is saying the same thing that you're saying, so nobody's there. And that's what I wanted to talk about with bringing up that question. Here we go again. Battle of the sexes. Is that the reason in our culture, most of our females are single? Because we are listening to our girl and be like, oh, you going? No, I ain't going. And do we do this in relationships? Well, what you think about him, girl? And how many times has she said, oh, I tried him, he good?
Boom. And probably only said hi. And probably only
Right. A month. They ain't even kicking like that. It's like...
Okay, let me tell you something. My husband, when I first saw him, he was walking past, at one of the nice little places there. He was walking past, going outside the patio to go smoke. I was with my cousin. She was outside already smoking. She came in. I was like, girl, I just seen this fine hoe. Man. She's like, oh, okay. So when he came in, there he go. She was like, oh, I know him. She's like, yeah, me and cousin.
We went together in the 3rd grade.
No, she was like, me and another cousin. We was chilling with him and his homeboy. She's like, nothing happened between us, though. She was like, we all went and got something to drink. My cousin went upstairs with his homeboy. He left early because he had to go to work. She said, nothing happened. I was like, okay. She said, he a good dude.
And that's good, but watch this. Wait. Oh, go ahead. Oh, it gets deeper. Oh, 16.
The cousin found out that I was talking to him and had a whole attitude about it. Why you got an attitude? Look at it. He was trying to talk to Winston first. Winston's like, oh, damn, I said my cousin's name. Sorry, baby. She was like, no, we did not try to talk. He was cool. We was just chilling. But the other cousin had a whole attitude with me because me and him was together. First of all, you got an attitude not because you said that they was talking, which they weren't because they both clarified that, but probably because you tried. Girl, don't make me smash you.
Okay. All right. So, which is this question, the text that I got? Why is it that, let me read it right, sir. Why is it that men don't have a problem following another man, but females do? So, wait, which is pretty much what we're saying. So time goes and it's like, it didn't work with this relationship and y'all talked for like a month. That is it off limits forever? Maybe that could have been your match. That could have been your soulmate. And because you dated my cousin when y'all was 17 and now we 42, now everybody looking at me like, oh, that's foul, that's whack, when the two people don't have an issue.
Right. I actually just wanted to, so Monica Wynn made another point about the being like, who's going to be there question. And Monica Wynn said, I think that they ask who's going to be there because it's more comfortable to them. And plus, in this day and time, they might have issues with someone that might be attending. I will say
at this age, we gonna fight.
Well, no. I will say that's very true because I have a restraining order against someone. And so, yeah, depending, and then that's how I handle things. But other people might shoot somebody if you're in conflict with them. So I think that's a great point, Monica.
Operator point of view as well with that. Because
we're not going to say jobs. But I got you. Don't say her name. Go ahead.
Right. That's why she's speaking of that because those are the type of calls that she takes.
But
there's always a shooting.
I get that.
Or fighting at bars and everything. So, yeah, a lot of times people are asking who's going to be there because if that person's going to be there, they already know there's going to be a conflict.
Right. And I feel like, and that's like, for violent situations, but like I said, even if if you in a family, like a family reunion, and if you know you don't
vibe with somebody in the reunion, okay, I'm not trying to be in their presence because no sense to spark it up. But here's my thing. That is a issue that needs to be addressed with a counselor. If you are over 40 and you might get into it with someone, like you going into it, I wouldn't even want you to come. I would so appreciate that if somebody asked, well, who's all going to be there? If you know that you may potentially cause some drama and tear up everything I invested, don't come.
Right.
Don't. So I can appreciate that. But at 40 and over, if you got issues with people out in these streets and we grown, so we going to double it up like the young people, grown, like, and not bout it, like, don't come because as much time, money, stress that there is, that is included in that, into putting on a great event for someone, for one person to feel like, okay, well, who all gonna be there? They might get into a fight. Don't come. Don't come to nothing of mine. And listen, I'm putting this PSA right now. If you feel like that you're going to be fighting and that's on your mind, do not come to, you are uninvited. Everybody invited to my stuff. But if you feel like that you want to fight at this age, like call the police, get a restraining order, like you said, do something like that. But if you feel like you might fight and you got that attitude and you don't have a good heart, don't fool with nothing like that because you will go to jail that day. And I'm going to press charges. And I'm going to sue you for everything I spent because you ruined my party.
That's right. And
if that was the case, I would never come out the house because there's several people that I don't mess with, that I have a problem with. But guess what? I'm out to enjoy myself and have a good time. Unless that person come to me with some mess and put their hands on me, I'm cool. I can ignore it. I can sit right next to you and we can't stand each other, but I can sit there drinking and talking to everybody else and sit there like this as long as you don't touch me. Because when you touch me, that's when you're going to have a problem. So if that was the case, I would never come out the house. Yeah, there's lots of people that I have issues with, but I'm not coming out to act fool. I'm coming out to enjoy myself.
Yes, you paid your money to do it.
And that was my point. Or maybe you're not gonna fight somebody because you're not a fighter. I'm not a fighter, right? But it's gonna hamper your mood. You're gonna be irritated. You're gonna be on edge. You're gonna have to be actively trying to ignore someone instead of enjoying the moment, enjoying the event. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, so if you're saying, oh, come do this with me, and they're like asking who's there, it might be because there's someone who they're in active conflict with might be there, and it's not worth time, money, getting dressed up to have to be around somebody that you cannot stand.
Now, I want to say this, and I hear you, Amber. Like Annette said, today we don't know who has issues, but here's the issue. They know they have an issue. Right. So don't come. And just like, with everybody shooting each other, because Annette made that comment for the listening audience out there, a man shoots another man. That's not my community. So when, Amber speaks and say, okay, I'll be like, who's all going to be there? You will attract your community. It's always that plus one that show out. It's always that it's always that plus one that's stuffing their purse. You know what I'm saying? So, and you'll be like, look, it's the truth though. It's always that plus one. So what you need to do is you need to say, I ain't fooling with you, Amber. Wait. You need to actually say, hey, listen, we going to this and this is how this is going to go. Because usually when people come to something and that, for people that know me, they'll be like, okay. And I appreciate it. I appreciate the respect. They'll be like, okay, this is this. So they gonna school their person. Okay, this is, if she's having this, your dress code is probably this. You know what I mean? You kind of give your plus one a heads up of what to expect. Mm-hmm. But if you woke up on the bad side of the bed, if you woke up and your feet swollen, you're gonna have an attitude. Yeah, I'm talking about the foot again. Don't come. Just say, you know what, I'm really not feeling well, because that's not the energy I exude. And guess what? Even coming in, you'll get that. They'll be like, well, who was in the fight? Man, my arms behind my back. Because you done tried to ruin my stuff. I'm like, Roxanne, you don't have to turn on the red. Like, they be like, oh, Mel and somebody. Don't come ruining things for other people. But you have to know, like I was saying, to my point, other people may not know they have issues, but they know they have issues. I know someone who has issues. I did not invite them. And it's a family member. They know. I love them to pieces. But nah, I'm not trying to babysit you.
Right. And that's what I wanted to piggyback on when you start talking about the plus one usually being problematic. Can we talk about, since Battle of the Sexes, how a lot of black men are that embarrassing plus? They don't know how to act. They don't know how to dress in a formal situation. They don't know how to clean up. They don't know how to wear. They're sagging and wearing a 3-piece suit. I don't want to be associated with that. I'm not going to bring a girl with me as my plus one and she's putting food in her purse. You know what I'm saying? There's like etiquette things, like you said, different situations in different circles where it's like, you don't know how to act. Mm-hmm. You don't know how to carry yourself. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, yeah, you attract your same vibe or whatever. But if you're like, well, why didn't you invite me? Well, maybe because I felt like you might put some food in your purse.
I was food in the purse after the event when y'all trying to get rid of stuff.
And you know that, Nick. But and that's what's different, because you can take the decorations after.
Exactly.
You can have it all after, but not during, because I am that person. Like when I do certain things, I had swag bags at this other event. My heart was hurt. My heart was broke because I did not know that adults, like little children, you'd be like, oh, okay. But adults would take more. It was free. So,
I remember you talked about this.
Yeah, I was crushed. And what was this last year? This was last year. My heart was so broke because other people are coming. Weren't you happy that there was one for you? And you didn't contribute or pay anything. So why don't you be happy there was one for you? And if you have never been to any of my events, you could take whatever you want after it's over, but give everyone the opportunity to have something. I mean, and you took about 4 or 5, and then my homeboy who came from out of town helped me put something, get some of the stuff in the car. Help me, the person that did it, and you take his bag. He was like, my bag was right there, and I was like, who took this bag? Like, I was so furious. Like, I saw you take all the other ones, but, and I didn't have one, but I was okay because I packed them. You know what I mean? But if you want everybody to have a good time, and now you went from stealing, because that's exactly what it is, stealing it, to just go bold, take a bag for somebody that's helping me pack up my car.
How about taking
That's
back
greed.
From the parent of the person, of the little person whose event it was. I was mad about that.
Well, and that why Edwards Williams said etiquette. What's that? I think that's what the issue is. I wouldn't consider it stealing.
It's stealing. If you take something that's not yours, it's stealing.
You know what I'm saying? It's no morals, and and that also said it's being greedy, and it's also not having etiquette. Having no sense of etiquette, no sense of decorum. You know, and So how do you address that? So you're there with your guy, like you can't take your man, like you said, you can't take him to the job Christmas party because they don't know how to act. So do you give them? Well, why is he your man then?
But wait, that's the point. So do you take him to etiquette courses? Do they have dance classes. You know, before you get married, you got to learn how to dance and do the salsa, whatever your wedding dance is going to be. Do you take that time to say, okay, everything else is right except this? So let's go to an etiquette class. Or do you just give up and be like, I just don't have time to teach nobody. This relationship is not going to work.
You can't teach, what is the word? You can't teach somebody that don't want to learn.
But maybe they do.
And because a lot of times when you bring up etiquette stuff with people, they get in their feelings. They get offended. And well, you bougie. Oh, you miss manners. It's not worth it. Sorry, let's be real here. No, it's not worth it. Bougie.
But shouldn't it be like you should be Miss Manners?
Yeah.
But then you have those where guys feel as though, watch this out, guys feel as though they won't take you to their home because you're so bougie. So they won't even take you around their family. Why is that, men? If you're listening out, you know.
That's because there's a lot of black people, black men and black women who have like they have an affinity. They associate being low class and being poor with being black. And you're less black if you're not poor. You're less black if you have manners, if you know etiquette, if you know how to act. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know how to set a table properly. Well, you're less black now. Just like the Republicans, sorry to make this political, who kind of centered on the average man, the everyday man, or the farmers are the real Americans and nobody else, because the people that live in cities are less American, when really they're centering on ignorance. And so when you're equating ignorance to being black, you're equating poverty to being black, you're equating like not having decorum, or like not even knowing, even if you're not practicing it, like just knowing how stuff is supposed to be done. You're not black, or you know what I'm saying? Or maybe, again, to not invalidate the man's feelings, maybe he realizes this isn't a good fit because you're outside the norm of his family, and he knows it's going to be uncomfortable for you and for his family. It's going to be an awkward situation.
Now, that could very well be. I know you guys saw me look down. I got a text. I remember when I had my book signing. We'll address this from the text I just got. I had my book signing, and there was a young lady there, and she was eating all the chocolate-covered strawberries. This was pre-COVID. And my sister, love her to pieces, she was like, who is that person? Here's the issue. You can take however many chocolate-covered strawberries you want if you buy a book. But, yeah, she didn't buy a book, but she took everything. And, when things start at a certain time, let's put this out here for the people that don't know and they don't want to be taught proper etiquette. If you're at an event starts from 2 to 5, that's like my time all the time anyway. That's my time. I'll be tired. If it starts at 2, you get there at 2:30. That don't mean they didn't get here at 2:30, eat everything. No. Stay until 5. 5:05, have at it. But give other people the opportunity to get what you had the opportunity to get. My grandmother, God rest her soul. Oh, she used to steal that food, throw it in her purse all the time. I ain't even lying. She did. Now, if you were anime, you could be that person. But here's the thing. Don't be embarrassed when you get tapped on the shoulder or you get called out on the mic.
But they do.
Listen, I would have called him out, yelled out. The problem was COVID. So I don't want it back anyway. You got it, take it. But here's the thing. Trust and believe is marked in my mind. And you'll be like, okay, do I really need to set somebody here at the dessert table? Do I really need to set somebody over here, like the bar? You know what I mean? Because, the Battle of the Sexes, during the cocktail hour was an open bar. When people find out that it's open, they drink more than they normally do. But here's the thing. That's not everybody. And that was the comment that I got. That's not a cultural thing. It's not a black, white, Asian. It's a people thing, an individual people thing. And it's like, okay, well, I don't have to spend it. I'm going to get the most of it. Or some people might feel like you, Amber. I paid $35. And I'm just using this as an example. I'm drinking up $35, even though they got a whole meal, So, be like, well, who in there? Okay, let me see. Did I waste mine? No, I'm about to turn up. Turn the heck up because you contributed it. But for that, they were asking, why do we as black people, that was what my text was, why do we as black people tend to go overboard and take? And that was actually, they said take desserts. Over $100 worth of desserts. So they must have seen something. That's on the phone.
I think there's another great comment by Annette.
Okay.
I wanted to say that why do we as black people tend to go overboard, and that's because I think as a community we're impoverished, and so we're more prone to the scarcity mindset.
Okay.
And so if you have an abundant mindset, you're like, oh, okay, well, there's no more food here. I'll just go buy some food. But if you're like, oh man, this is my dinner and my breakfast for tomorrow, so let me gorge on food. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just because black people are more poor, and so we're more likely to go overboard on free stuff. But I wanted to say that Annette Y. Edward Williams said that OMG repass, it's even worse! ! I have never seen anything like that. Grabbing food and taking it home.
Okay, wait. Let's explain what a repass is. Go ahead, Amber.
Okay, so a repast is the meal that's served after a funeral.
Okay. Now,
let's
converse. I said, let's converse.
So, yes. And I think as far as just how much you're eating, we're reflecting on the person, but as far as etiquette goes, if you want to get super formal, it doesn't matter if you contributed to the event or not. If you're in attendance, if you want to be ladylike and dainty and delicate, you're not supposed to gorge on food publicly, period. That's just what it is. I'm the type of person, if I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. But I'm aware that, in certain circles and a certain event, no, you're not supposed to be stuffing your face as a lady. Even the men, you're not supposed to stuff your face at certain levels of events. And
you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. And I want to put this out here because, I just have to do what I have to do. When I see an elderly person taking food, their appetite decreases as they get older. I'm okay with that. Even, holler at me like, hey, I got something for you. And if you notice, I'm just going to put this medical information out there. If you notice, there's elderly people tend to not want to eat, we look at it as healthy, but they eat sweets. And that is because their taste buds are diminishing. And sweets actually taste the same. So you take that into consideration when you see an elderly person taking something. And I'm not saying that because my grandmother was the one throwing it in her purse with the saran wrap and Ziplocs, But if you see somebody elderly and they seem to be a little thin, have at it. Let them do their thing. Matter of fact, tell them I packed you up something to go. Okay, because it's something that they actually like. So we want to feed our elderly. Exactly, in that, because a lot of them don't have food. And that's why now the government actually allows some elderly people who are impoverished to use their food stamp card to buy hot foods. But it's at fast food restaurants. So if you know somebody, and even if you have a neighbor or something like that, and you're cooking and you click with your neighbor, cut their grass, do the whole nine, or they're alone, if you want to cook them some food, that will be a nice thing, like full course meal, something like that, or a hot meal, and not the garbage that's at some of these places. But if they like sweets, let them eat it. Okay, because it's something.
Elderly have to sometimes decide between money for their medicines that they need and money for food. So yes, I don't mind if I see them packing up stuff, like you said, have at it.
Yes.
Have at it.
Yes.
So I actually have a question for the both of you ladies.
Go ahead.
Etiquette-wise, are you supposed to correct someone when they're displaying poor etiquette? Because I feel like you're not supposed to. You're just supposed to and like, and like, ooh, but you're not supposed to.
That's right. If it's a date.
Well, not a date. No, I mean like in a formal setting, like in a formal event.
Okay.
Or a date, but just like I feel like you're not supposed to.
There's a way to do it.
Right.
There's a way to do it, and this is how, because I've been in this situation. You engage in the conversation. And when you engage in the conversation, you put out the right word, the correct word in your engagement. And then they'll be like, yeah, that's the word I meant to say. And they'll usually say, that's what I was trying to say. Thank you. Or something to that effect. I was on a date.
Well, no, I mean like food-wise, like eating and decorum-wise.
Oh, no. No, if they're grown and if you chew with your mouth open, I'll be like, I don't want to, I say it. I'm like, I don't even want this because I don't want to see what you're eating. Like, I don't need to see how it's masticated in there. Like, get out of here. I don't want to see your mastication. Like, no. Like, if you don't know, and guess what? I'm not taking you anywhere. The relationship is over because the way that my family is set up, you will have low self-esteem.
Exactly.
And they gonna call you on it. They're going to call you on it. But if I have to teach you how to eat, I don't want no parts of it. I don't.
But I feel like that's really basic. But I'm talking about when you're getting more into the details, like more into the weeds of etiquette. Because as we were discussing in the past, oftentimes when you do point something out that someone's doing incorrectly etiquette-wise, they're going to rebuff you. And they're going to get, indignant or instead of like taking the correction. And I feel like that's a big part of being able to move up in social status and move in different circles is being able to accept the criticism or, you know what I'm saying, or correction.
Some of them don't, but there's some nasty high level people, like people that piss on the toilet seat. That's a buy. And you can have all the money in the world. And I know somebody cold, living it up. Hey, we do the celebrity. What's her name? Remember she said she don't wash her hands after she... Yeah, that's a celebrity. Like, that's crazy.
But it's not about money, though. It's about class. I'm saying, like, different social levels.
But sometimes we as a people tend to classify a level with class. We put it together, and it's not true. And as far as, like, that guy, like, the people that can't talk, dictionary.com, remember that one?
Okay.
It's hard. You can't have a conversation with that type of individual because you're constantly listening to them and you're interjecting the right word that's supposed to be used. And I can't converse like that. I'm like, this is way too taxing.
Right. And I feel like there's a lot of women. I feel like that's more extreme. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there's a lot of women, but on smaller levels are with men that the relationship is too taxing because you're constantly correcting them. You're like, oh, he didn't do that right, or like, oh, he don't know how to dress, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because you're really just not on the same level. And then instead of acknowledging, man, this is a lot right now, and I need to exit, they're like, well, let me teach him and let me enlighten him, and I'm gonna appoint myself to be his teacher, even though he didn't even ask me to teach him.
And that's probably where they get you're like my mother and you're mean and you're like, they're finally like, I'm finally free. I'm finally grown. I'm in my own domain. I'm paying my own bills and I still have my mother. And then they call it nagging.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the difference. So let's go to this. Do men or women make better cheaters?
I think women are better cheaters. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Spill the tea. Battle of the Sexes 2022.
Definitely better cheaters. We could do it in your face and you would never know. Whereas a man try to do it in a woman's face, that it automatically boom.
Do you think that that's why we notice it faster, because we make better cheaters?
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. I think that I think women are more intuitive, and I think women are more observant, especially in relationships, because I think women are socialized to like carry the emotional burden of a relationship, and men are socialized to carry the financial burden of a relationship. So we're gonna notice a change faster than men are.
Right, exactly.
Okay. And you know what that comes from? Remember at the very beginning of the conversation when I was saying how, a guy said, yeah, it is exactly what it is at that moment. He'd be like, yeah, I'll marry you. And then we look to the future. And then we're going looking in the catalogs, looking for our dress, the whole nine. He didn't say when. He just said, yeah, I'll marry you. So it's like, I cheated on you. I did this thing right now today, and I'm not looking at the future. I'm looking at what it is today. I think that plays a part. I think it definitely plays a part in all of it. In all of it. So going forward, I want to ask you, you two women of color, what's your thoughts on are successful black men dating white women? I just want to know the truth. Like, let's have some dialogue real quick.
It really used to bother me because it's like you see a lot of these black men who are with women until they get black women until they get to a certain status, and then they change over. But now more and more black women are open up to dating,
outside their race
when they get up there, and we see how it affects the men. Some of the men are mad about it now. It doesn't bother me anymore like it used to. I don't care. I could care less because number one, 9 times out of 10, that man is not my type of hype anyway, not my cup of tea. So I don't care who you do.
Okay, go ahead, Amber. What's your thoughts as a woman of color?
So I think as a community, because you're speaking as a woman of color, it just reflects why the black community is where it is currently at. Because black men acquire wealth and then go and pass it to another community. I also hear a lot of black men saying that once a black man achieves this, wealth and resources and fame, notoriety, he doesn't owe the black community anything. Whereas other groups of men don't feel that way. Other groups of men understand that they have an obligation to their community, to their people, and they're going to pour back into their own community. And that includes through their own lineage, because their descendants are going to be a part of that community. It was something that bothered me very long time ago, like as an adolescent and as I was maturing into a woman. Mm-hmm. But now it's, because I changed my perspective, and I when you reprioritize yourself as the prize instead of, this is something that's getting away from me. Like, no, I'm the prize. I'm just going to date whoever's on my level or whoever I vibe with and I connect with. And that also as a black woman, it is not our responsibility to carry this community. It is not my responsibility to birth this community through my uterus. If black men are making biracial babies left, right, and center and doing what's best for them, and they owe the black community nothing once they acquire wealth, then hell, neither do I. I'm going to live my best life. I'm going to do what's best for me. I'm going to entertain men that I respect and that are on the level I want and treat me the way I want to be treated and just keep it pushing. But as far as men, because it's not just black men date non-black women. It's when they acquire wealth, when they acquire resources, then they go outside the race. I also want to point out that as a conversation, I feel like people need to understand that other races of people see this. They know that. This is not a secret. This isn't some kind of theory we have that's only black people can see. Everyone can see this. It's not a good look. As far as being a leader and a provider, it's reflecting that, you're not a leader. You're a nester. You want to go nest in another man's community and reap the benefits of his hard work and him building up his own community and him protecting his own community and him raising daughters that are good wives and partners. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to pour back into the black community, because there's a lot of black men who say successful black men don't owe the black community anything. And that's just how they feel about it. So,
and you know what?
That's kind of crazy to me, because it's the black community 9 times out of 10 who push you and are behind you 100% when you're trying to get to that level.
That reminds me of Caesar, the musician.
Okay.
Caesar something.
Hold on one second. Now, to speak to what you said, Nick, you said because it's the black community that pushed you. That's not necessarily true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I can speak to that. And it's like, you know, so you have some people who are like, okay, well, you are the ones, and this is not the entire black community, but it happens more often than not. We know our stat girl over there, she gonna keep it 100. Sometimes those are the people that keep you down.
Yeah,
because, and let me say this, so you have, you know, we've heard of the crab syndrome. I learned that, you know, once I became an adult. I'm like, what? Because I was always taught, you know, people supporting you, pushing you, do well, do what it is you need to do. We start off, yeah, you can do it. But let's be real, I have seen and witnessed the resentment of somebody else being put higher, or it's their turn to shine. And it's like, wait, but what about me? But what about me? So you're not building that person up. And the Bible clearly says it. So these things have been repeated. A prophet is unknown in his own land. But you may have somebody outside of the community that's like, I see your purpose. I see your passion. I see what you're doing. And they'll support you, but your own won't. Now, let me say from my hometown, Youngstown, Ohio, people need to understand this. And I'm just going to put this out here for somebody that may be starting something or doing something and feel like nobody is supporting them. You have to understand where you are. You have to understand the population. And if you are only gearing and focusing on a type of community that you expect to support you, sometimes we are stretched thin. So it's like, well, which way am I going? What am I going to do? Should I go to this event? I want to support them. And just because you're not there does not mean that you don't support that person. You're dealing with a smaller population. If you're in a bigger city, bigger town, what is it? Little fish in a big pond. I would prefer to be a little fish in a big pond than a big fish in a little pond. Why? Because there's no room for growth. And eventually I'll suffocate.
Right.
So wait a minute. So for that person out there that may be feeling like nobody is supporting them and feeling discouraged, or looking at your likes that you may have like on social media, don't look at that. People see you. You keep going. You keep doing what it is that you're doing. Do not reschedule your things, because you'll have other people saying, maybe you should do it at this time. Maybe you should do it at that time. Understand this is your purpose, your passion. You do it at your time, because once you readjust for one, you lose yourself, because you'll tend to readjust for everybody, and you're doing everything as if it's a coalition. Listen, we are people. We are free. This is not a coalition. Your community will come to you. Your community will find you. I got that from my god sister, okay? Your community will find you. If it's 500, 5,000, 5 people will touch another 5 people. They'll touch another 5 people. What's for you is for you, as long as it's your purpose and your passion and you're doing it out of good faith. Trust and believe you will definitely get your flowers. And let's be real. I know for a fact it is better to get my flowers from 2 than 2 million, because I know those 2 are genuine. So I just want to put that out there and encourage somebody that may be doing something, you know what I mean? And feel discouraged. Don't feel discouraged. Don't look at those numbers, because even if you make it like a video and you'll look at like, oh, I got like 1 person watching. That's okay, because that 1 person can touch another person and touch another person. And when it's your time, trust and believe it's going to be your time, as long as you're doing what your purpose to do. So again, people will view your videos. You'll look like 2 weeks later and you'll be like, oh man, 1,000 views. but you're stuck on the one. Don't get stuck on the one and don't lose yourself. Do things the way that you choose to do them. Don't not listen to other people. Hear what they have to say because they may have positive input, but don't start rearranging your dream. Your dream is just that, yours. All right. It kept coming to me. I'm like, I got to say this. I don't know who it's for, but I got to say it. Go ahead, Amber.
Yeah, I was going to say that in defense of the Black community, the crabs in the barrel mentality is in every community, and that's really not an excuse. And for me, as someone who's in my position, I think a great way to grow and reflect is to acknowledge who did support you. And the first people who supported me most were other Black women. And I've had Black men in my family also be huge support and role models to me. And they're part of why I am the way I am today. You know what I'm saying? So it's not all Black people. It's not all Black men. It's not all Black women. There's hardly anyone has reached a level of success without the support of at least a few people. Okay? And so, and what we're saying, definitely, like, when you were talking about, like, the success and, like, not getting the numbers and being worried about what other people think, I think that is so true. Now, it's definitely a word, because I was something I needed to hear. And that can apply to your romantic life, too, not just, like, in business or in, like, an entrepreneurial pursuit that you have. And as far as the community goes, and, like, the original question, like, why do they get wealth and then go outside the community? I do think it's because, because Nick Cannon said that they see non-Black women as status symbols and as trophies, and they see Black women as mules and, suffering.
Okay, listen, I know you guys want to keep going, but we have come to the end of the show. I want to give a shout out to the people the Black people in the community and the whites, everybody, companies in the community that did donate to this year's Battle of the Sexes. So shout out to Cherie's Childcare. Shout out to Food for Your Soul, Michelle White. Shout out to 5 Grand Fashions. You guys got to check it out. They're having a fashion show too. The others, I will keep going. Look, my physicians in the area, shout out to you guys. I appreciate you. You have no idea. My Facebook friends, the guys that tune in and listen, and my shop talkers. I have a few shop talkers, like I said at the beginning of today's show. I appreciate the donations for the Battle of the Sexes. So now you guys know a little bit about what the Battle of the Sexes luncheon and day party consists of. It's during the day. We party, we have adult conversations, and we have lunch, and we do play games, that perfume cologne game. So we'll make sure we have that set up so you can smell and see, do you know your perfume or do you know your cologne? We just have a great time, okay? So I wanted to put that out there, and I'm glad. Thank you guys for all of you who donated individually too, because I did mission was accomplished and we met our goal. So we are totally happy about that.
I also want to give a shout out and a big congratulations to these 2 young ladies that did win that scholarship.
Yes.
Well done, ladies.
And those 2 who did win the scholarships, those were previous events. The Mingle with Medicine Wine Sip for adult education. And that was for Kia Henderson. And then also the My Best Tea Party Club, which is the young women's mentoring program that is dear to my heart, Jordan Banks. So it was earned. Definitely earned. Definitely earned. And, we like to look out and we see the people in the community doing their doggone thing. And everything doesn't have to be hard. Everything doesn't have to be hard. What are you doing? You Frankie Half-Faker, doing a little good in the neighborhood. We see you. All right, hey, I want to give, thank you. Give a shout out to my lovely co-host in the building, Nick the Voice. Y'all know her. She gonna keep it 100 on what's happening in the community. So thank you, Nick, and we will see you.
Bye.
And then there is the lovely analyst, Amber D in the building. She gonna keep us up on the stats and what's really happening in the building and outside the building too, in the community. She'll let us know what's happening around the world and give you how she feels with straight with no chaser. How about that? It's like, here you go. It's raw. All right, thank you, Emily D. Take it easy. All right, and I am your girl, Mel, as you all know. And T-Baby, we love you too. I love all you guys for listening. Trust and believe that you are freaking amazing. Today's footnote is to educate a man in mind and not in morals is to educate a menace to society. And that is from yours truly, Theodore Roosevelt. Check it out. Hey guys, I love you for listening. You have no idea how much I love you guys for tuning in to Shop Talk with Mel. Like us on all our social media sites, wherever you can like us at, okay? And follow us on YouTube, on your favorite podcast. You can check us out. If you didn't see the show today or missed half of the show, you can always go back on your favorite podcast, all right? Find you, embrace you, most importantly, always, always love you. Until next week, people, you know what it is. Shop Talk every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. And email us at shoptalkwithmel@yahoo.com. We see your messages. We get your messages. Follow Nick the Voice on Facebook Live under Nick the Voice. That's NYK the Voice. And you know what it is. Check your girl out all the time. I got some stuff for you. And go to the YouTube. Check out some of the vlogisms. We're coming back. Peace.